Hello and welcome to another free code session. My name is Jason Bach and I have that light behind me, the soft, bright light. Maybe I really should get a backdrop or something, because depending upon when I record this now, as we get into more of the spring and summer months, and depending upon when I record, that gets a little bit more prevalent. So yeah, whatever. We're good. It's fine. It's fine. So in this episode, I want to at least start. We'll see if we finish this issue that I mentioned last time, which was the fact that if a callback throws an exception that you want to have happen, then the verification will fail because the increment call count should go ahead. So the first thing we're going to do is, I didn't realize this in the last episodes, I had all this code commented out. I've already made a branch, but I'm going to remove all this because, commented code should be gone. Okay, so we got that going on. Let's actually now put in a test for integration tests. Do we want like an exception test, or do we have verification? I think we got verification tests, right? Yes, we do. Okay, so let's put in a test for this one and say test public static void verify when callback throws exception. Okay, so what we're going to do is put that in here, void, I don't calculate because I can't think of anything else. Okay, there we go. So we're going to say this. Okay, and then we're going to say, oops, not that, expectations.methods, which it may not have generated yet. That's fine. Oh, it did. Good. Callback. Throw new not supported. Whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. So we say var data is equal to expectations dot instance, and we're eventually going to do a data dot verify. No, expectations dot verify. Sorry, expectations verify. And then here, we're going to say data dot calculate, except what we really want to do is say assert that this throws type of not supported exception. There. Now we should run this and it's going to fail. But it's going to fail because we're going to get a verification exception and we shouldn't. That's what we expect. So let's see what happens. Okay, and as you can see, the result here is verification exception, and we should see that it's in this type and on that mock type, and it's a calculate, and the call count is incorrect. Okay, so now we have a test that's failing. That's what we want. Here's the harder part. Now we got to make it succeed. This is going to break other tests. It will break other tests in the tests assembly, because that's looking for code layout, and we're going to be moving code around. What it shouldn't break are any of the tests in the integration test project. That's the hope. Okay, so if we go into the builders and we say create, and it's going to be, well, it's going to be in a whole bunch of things. It's going to be in the method value and void builder, but I think they both use the same one, if I remember right, when you get down to like the body of the method. Maybe, possibly, I don't remember. I vaguely remember. Yeah, there's the build method handler. So somewhere in here we should be doing an increment call count. Yes, right here. So we got that going for us. Now we just have to figure out where that goes. So if I go back to my notes, which I just realized I don't have, so because I got rid of them because, reasons. What we want to do is, that's doing the cast. Now return value. Where are we actually doing? Okay, here. So those are the only places that we do it. Okay. For method parameters, Yeah, this is the hard thing about doing it this way is like, what is the code visually doing? But this is where we say build method handler. Okay, let's actually go into one of our tests so we can actually visualize this and see. I don't think it really matters which one it is. Class create. Yeah, I don't think it matters. Oh, those are the method handlers. Okay, so that's what the for loop is here, right? No, that's for the methods. For each method handler and method handlers. Yeah, I'm not quite sure off the top of my head what this is actually doing. Because it's saying we have one argument, we do that. But then when we come in the build method handler, which I believe that's what this is, we're going to see, well, returns ref, we have to say those things. And if there is a does not return thing, then we need to do some other things. And then we eventually, at some point here, yeah, we get the return value. Method handler is handler name, something, something. Oh, man. You know, if somebody would have actually documented this, it probably would have made it a lot easier. But, yeah, no. Can't always win. And then there are all the raise events. I think this, though, is what I'm saying. That should be first. Like I write that. I should do that right up here. Because we're saying we've handled it. And all we're doing is incrementing the count. None of this other stuff should fail. And I believe that if this does fail, you know, and you don't return a value, well, that's on you. I mean, if you get to this part, then, you know, yeah, you should not throw if method, write a right line, type kind, type parameter. I mean, if I overthink this too much, I think I'm going to start to go, well, wait a minute. When do we actually, yeah, method handler method is this method return. I think, and again, this is why I said this could take one episode, this could take a lot. Method validation handler. And just to make sure, I think this is the only spot we say this in here, right? And if we come back over here to where we're doing all this, the mock method, value builder, and void builder, if we say find increment call count, it should be just in one spot. That's good. Okay, so I believe what we need to do is put this at the top. Okay. No, not there. My goodness, no. And then we also need to do the same thing here. We could arguably raise events. That starts getting what happens if an event does something bad, you know. But we definitely want this first. That I think is the right thing to do, okay? What I also want to see is just in here, where am I doing that? Looking current project. So the value void and then the property builder, which that's good because that means we probably want to do that here. Okay. And then where else do we find it? Call me out in this months later when I'm redoing everything and I say, we don't need comments. Okay. So now all this is saved. Okay. Well, we've done now all the work, right? So Control-Shift-S. Saved everything. I'm going to have to shut down and start up again because I got to get that to work. But while I'm here, we have verification test. We want for all these. So let's say int calculate value. Okay, and then we have a string value. Okay, so verify when void callback. There was exception. We want to do these for all. When int callback calculate value. Yep, callback instance. We want to say calculate value here. Same thing. We want to say for the property setters and getters, we want to say when getter callback. So now what we want to do is say here, properties, getters. There should be a value. Yeah. Dot value callback. There. We also need one for the setter. Okay. So we want to say here, setter. Okay. Of course, we actually need to get these to happen. So data.value, and then we want to say, what is value? It's a string equals X. Doesn't matter because we're setting it. We should get that callback. Oh, the callback actually takes a value. That would have been good. Okay. I don't know why you're... Oh, yeah, that's right. Because we want to say X. Right, there we go. Okay, so now this is good. So what I'm going to do, shut down, start up again, run just the tests in here. Okay, these should all pass. Then run all the tests in integration tests. Those should all pass. If that's true, and then I see that some of the tests are failing here and they all seem to be related to just mismatch positioning, I'll handle that off camera. So first step, shut down and start up again. Okay, we're back with a bunch of red, but that's okay. Let's just see if we say run this, what fails? Because I'm pessimistic. I'm always pessimistic. Everything should just fail, right? Okay, well, that's wonderful. I wonder, am I making an assumption here? No, method handler is something that should exist. So if I looked at my class create generator, yeah, we're just moving that up to here. So method handler should be a thing. Yeah, okay, so that's not the issue. So what is? I'm guessing, yeah, when I get errors like this, it means that there's something really badly busted. And okay, so let's actually run this one. Oop. So actually, I think I said run this test. I think that's the keystroke I gave it. Because I don't believe this breaks anything with rocks and rocks tests. So my hope is that this is saying, well, you should just have to move the method handler, my call count, and then it will pass. If that's what it's trying to do. Okay, it failed. But why did it fail? If we just scroll through this, yeah, it's saying that's here now, and that shouldn't be there. But that's it. The rest of it, okay, down there too, fine. But the rest, okay, that too, fine. Oh, but that's okay. I mean, that we did this, that's okay because we did it after that, right? And the same thing here. Yeah, it's okay that we're moving it there. And then that's all good. Okay, so this is the one that failed. So let's go in here and let's just move some things around. Okay, and then we do this. Now the one thing I don't think this has is a well, this doesn't. It doesn't mean that others don't. Is a test on the properties. That maybe, possibly, question? I don't know. I should have just looked at the code that was having an issue, but let's see what this gives us as an error. It did error, but why? So we go through all this. So far, so good. So far, so good. So far, so good. And, oh, there is a, well, fine. So that's in foo, but that should be it then. Okay, so in foo, if I come back up here. God, I hate this window. I absolutely hate it. I don't know which person on this team, so it tabs out to there. Okay, so to foo. I don't know what person ever made that window, but my God, that is just utterly painful to try to do that. Okay, now let's run it. Like, it just moves so fast in that window. It's like, please, can you scroll normally? I will go back to, okay, now it passed. That also means that it's compiling, which is good. Somewhere in here, yeah, so this is if methods not null, and then we do unsafe as to call method arguments, which we don't have any. Now this would need to be here if we want to raise events, but we don't. Okay, so what I mean is I only want that. Okay. And I would wonder if I save the value builder, if that's the same thing. If we get all the way down here, hard to tell. Hard to tell. But now if we come to this, that should be fine. Again, I don't want to get too hung up on cases, but what I mean is indentation or extra lines or something that's kind of immaterial. I really don't care about that. Okay, that passes. That does mean it compiles. So we got that going for us. Is there a property? We got a property generator test. So let's just guess and say that this is going to be here. And then we have a get hash code, which hopefully should be there. And then we do this. And then we do this. And that. And we are getting into the getters and setters now. That's good. Okay. That should be up here, right? Should be. Should be is the operative word or phrase. And this goes up there. This goes up here. Okay, what does this do? Okay, fail. Didn't I say at the beginning of this, like, this can't just take one episode. There's going to be more. So what failed here? Do we just have diffs for now? Okay. Keep scrolling, keep scrolling. Well, you know, that's not what you want to see. So it's probably why we're getting a lot of compilation errors, because that ain't right. So property generator, property builder. Okay, so let's go up to the build setter first. Yeah, that's not the place to be. So we did have a right line into your get this, and then we indent, and then we do if out var handler methods. That's where we want it. Like if we go to our property generator test, that's where I was expecting it. Yeah, we say try get value on the identifier. And then here is where we don't need this anymore. Wow, that's bad. That's, you know, what's bad here is that I'm not using a scope for any of these. And we could have an issue here. So I'm not going to solve that now, but I'm going to put a to do in here, to do. We should be using variable naming context for things like method handlers, method handler, etc. Okay, we don't have that, and it's actually for this whole class. It's not a comment for just this, it's for the whole class. So we need to do that, but I'm not going to do it now. And in fact, I'd probably handle that when I get to the point of redoing everything. Okay, but I think this is right now. So we don't need this because there is no interpolation, but that should be the right spot for now. So if I go property generator tests and we do our method handlers, wait, that's a, yes. Okay, good. I just noticed that. There is where we want it. Okay. And that could be right lines, but not really worth it at this point. So there we go. Okay. And then down here in the setter is where JSON should not do this. And we want to say for each var method handler and method handlers. So if we go to the setter here, I believe get and set. So we want to say for each var method handler and method handlers, here we indent and then we say that. Okay. That I believe is going to get us to where this will match and compile. And if that's true, then we can run the integration tests and hopefully everything compiles and we can just run that. If not, time for another episode. Didn't pass. Why is that? Okay, still diffs. That's okay. We can get through diffs. It's interesting that when I was scrolling through it, because I started going, wait a minute, why in a property? Yeah, you got to do it after the is valid. Okay, hold on. Yes, this is actually the wrong spot for it as well. We have to make sure, because you could have multiple different getter and setter expectations on properties that you've set, and you want to make sure that the one that is valid is the one that you've actually incremented the call count on. So this is where we want to have it. Okay. So, okay. That's on the getter, right? That's on the setter. But that's fine. I think we also want to do the same thing on the getter. Probably there's got to be an is valid here somewhere. But we don't. Really? So 5 equals toString. Oh, that's right. That's right. Because there's only one that you can do for a getter. There's no way to have on a getter. Well, you could for indexers. Mock indexer. Do we not? Wait a minute. Mock indexer builder. Do we not say increment call count? Wow, we really don't? That's actually kind of scary. Why do I feel like I've just done a dive into the deep end again and went, wait a minute. Okay, so let's get our bearings straight and say, what do we need to do? Why are increment call count missing from indexers? Because you should. I mean, we have method handler thingies here, and we've got is valid. Oh, that's why. Okay, never mind. Because we treat them like methods. I forgot. Okay. Okay, but what was my thought here before? So a getter can only have one handler because you just call get. A setter can have more. You could say when it sets with a 3, do this. When it sets with a 42, do this. You know, you can't have more than one. So with the setter, we do want to say down below here that if that method handler's call count is that. And so on the test here, we want to make sure that it is within the is valid. Okay, so on the set is valid. On the get, we do that. On the set, we do that. Okay, so I think what I was saying here is I think my code here was fine. Let's just run this quick and then see what this says. If it doesn't work, then I'm going to do another episode and we'll do all the things I talked about. But I believe now that this generated code is what I expected. And it passes. And my God, my stomach has just been on a tear this afternoon. I don't know what it is. I usually just eat the same couple of things for lunch all the time. And I don't feel sick. Like, it's not like I feel sick. It's just, I'm just sitting there going, I've eaten this before. What's the problem? And I did try a new salsa today. I don't know if that's what's doing it, but my stomach will just not shut up this entire afternoon. So hopefully it doesn't come through on the recording here, because that would suck. But anyway, okay, so we got this. Next episode, I would have shut down, started up again, and then run it. And then hopefully if that works with the integration tests, we'll see what I do next. That's a problem for the next episode. Thank you all for watching. Leave comments and questions below. See you in the next episode.